All right, algorithms, it's Wednesday and Celebrity Court of Public Opinion is back. I'm your Judge Al Reynolds, and today we're diving into the legal battles that have captured headlines and divided public opinion concerning celebrities, definitely politics, and also social issues. I'm joined by an esteemed legal panel, which I call my legal beagles tonight, and I can't wait to introduce. Coming back to the court one more time is Jade Matthews, civil rights attorney. Jade Matthews. Jade, welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Thank you for having me back.
You taking your dad's job, huh?
Listen, he better get with it. New generation. The next
That's right, new generation. Tell us, Jade, what would you like your emoji to be?
Ooh, you can do, I'm feeling joyful today. So just do a little smiley emoji with a blush. You see the blush I have? I want to match.
All right. A smiley emoji with a blush. So be sure to throw in a smiley emoji with a blush for attorney Jade Mathis. Second up, we have that fiery civil attorney. Yep, you heard me right. That fiery civil attorney is back. Shatan Turner, welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Thanks for having me back, Your Honor. Hey, algoriters.
All right, and last but not least, and we always enjoy his humorous attitude here in Celebrity Court. Humorous, emeritus, right, lawyer, Sean Carter. Sean Carter, welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Hey, man, I don't appreciate that emeritus. That emeritus, always, that's a euphemism. You young out there, understand? That's a euphemism for old. That's what that means. That's what it means. You're old. That's what you're saying.
Well, you're with the younger group today.
Yeah, I am. I know. I'm feeling like several people's daddies. Don't come and ask for no money, women, either. Huh? The ladies, I ain't got no money for you.
Don't get all the money when they say they don't have none.
Well, that's right.
That's true. But let me have the clown emoji.
The what emoji?
The clown emoji.
The clown emoji. That's right. All right. And don't forget to use that fax emoji for me, your judge here in Celebrity Court. Please hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, be sure to hit that share button and invite people to come on over. Also, please turn on your notifications and don't forget to jump down in those comments tonight because, baby, the docket is stacked full of a whole bunch of controversial conversations. All right, court, now in session. Ooh, what's that?
I was going to say, did you see what's international? Someone's in from the Bahamas.
Attorney Turner, I think something's wrong with your microphone. But let's get started. All right, first up on the docket, Donald Trump. Welcome to Celebrity Court. Donald Trump is showing his you-know-what once again. Is he a dictator or is he a president? All right, let's start with you, Attorney Turner, if we can get your volume and everything, right? Attorney Turner, what is going on with this dictatorship that he's trying to enforce? He's saying it's going to happen on day one of his presidency. He's exploring mass deportation. He's firing federal employees. He's giving pardons to the January 6 rioters. He's putting tariffs on imported goods. He's doing a rollback on all transgender protections as well as education policies. He's also doing away with environmental and drilling policies, and he's committed to settling the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Attorney Turner, what say you?
He's out of control, but nobody should be surprised. So, in my mind, I think, is he a dictator? Is he a despot? Or is he a dummy? And we should not speak ill of the president-elect. So we will suspend any comment about the third category. In this case, President-elect Trump, he ran on these promises that you don't have to worry about what you're getting with me because I'm so committed to these ideas that I'm promulgating that I am going to insist on enforcing them on day one. That was actually one of the differences in the campaigns. He committed to this idea that he had all of this authority that he could independently execute, and the other candidate was more measured in her comments about what she could do because she had an understanding of federalism. She had an understanding of the law and she had an understanding of rules and regs. But when you're not constrained by that, you just say a bunch of things. So let's unpack them, right? He's already indicated that he's going to exercise his authority to pack his cabinet with loyalists, right? The only requirement, it appears, and I'm not misquoting him, he said this out loud, is that you're loyal to him, and that loyalty buys you a ticket. And it doesn't in some respects, I think it actually is quite literally buys you a ticket if you consider the influence Elon Musk is going to have in the administration.
That's scary to me. That's scary to me.
Yeah, it's frightening to anybody who thinks, because in Elon Musk's situation, for example, he has contracts with the federal government for space companies that he runs, and yet he's going to have influence into who gets awarded those contracts, right? From a supply chain perspective, from an ethical perspective, people think that confounds logic, and it does, and yet it is happening. His attorney general.
The best part, I want to jump in here really quick because I want you to finish that. The best part is, remember, he's also saying that anyone that practices diversity, meaning that there is a fair share to go around to all suppliers, he's going to prosecute.
Yes, and the person who's his Secretary of Defense has indicated that all generals that were involved in DEI or diversity and inclusion efforts will be removed from their posts, because that gentleman just does not believe in diversity and inclusion efforts. And the interesting thing about him becoming this Secretary of Defense is that his military experience is a function of being in the reserves. Now, not to knock it, because I've never served in the military, and it was Veterans Day on Monday, and so I respect all who do. But this is not Colin Powell, right? This is not somebody who went to West Point, who's devoted their life to the military and who has distinguished themselves with their military career. This is somebody who's a pundit on Fox News who served in the reserve. So it's what his cabinet posts indicate very clearly is that he is going to push the envelope as far as he can to do what he wants. And so the question becomes, what are really the limitations of what presidents can do? Where's their source of authority? What authority do they have? And if they exceed that authority, what checks are there for that? And as the Supreme Court recent case indicated, those checks are becoming, fewer and far between. Now, the other thing that's interesting is that he's not the only president, of course, who's pushed the limits. We still don't have all the answers to that waterboarding that was going on under the Bush administration. And President Clinton tried to assert his privilege during the Monica Lewinsky scandal and Paula Jones by not divulging information. So it's not like he's the only one who's pushed it, but he's the only one who's pushed it this far in modern times.
On so many levels. Let's go to you, Attorney Mathis, because you are a civil rights attorney. That means your job, you wake up every day making sure that people's civil liberties are not jeopardized. And I had said in the chambers, and I don't care who repeats it, but this is just my thought. This mass deportation has to be against our civil rights. Number one, I feel like, it's a cover-up. You think it's going to be towards, which many have talked about, the mad exodus of illegal immigrants who are Mexican. But I honestly think it's simply a mask in order for him to go after Haitian Americans and anybody else of brown and black hue that he feels like is in the United States illegally. What say you?
Listen, Al, I feel like he's going to go after anybody that's browner than you. Okay. So you are absolutely right about that. And in fact, when he spoke, and I believe it was Minnesota, where he alleged that they were eating the dogs and the cats.
Right.
He actually said that he was going to send the migrants and the legal migrants back to Haiti. He said they didn't matter if they were legal or illegal. So the ones who have actually immigration status here, he said they were sending them back as well. So I absolutely agree with you. This is not just going to be those are from South American or similar countries. I think that it's going to be anyone who is not very wealthy, anyone who is of a browner skin hue. I think that is absolutely true. I think you're right. He's going to be sending a lot of people that, whether they have status or not, back to I don't even want to say their countries, to a country. And that's
Well,
go ahead.
he's gonna have a little trouble with that. He's gonna try. There's no doubt. But there's two things about it. One, remove people. You can't just put them in a car and drive them. You need a court order. You need something that says an order of removal. Second thing you need, by the way, is for the other country to accept you.
That's right.
So and he sent me, and you're right, the brown people is going to be tough because basically I don't know how to prove I'm a citizen unless I start carrying around my birth certificate. All right, because there's no other way to sort of prove that. You can have a driver's license and not be a citizen, etc. But when he sends me back to Mexico, they're gonna be like, "Nah, bro, you don't speak any Spanish. You don't know any of this. You don't know how to make the tacos. You don't know any. You're not any good to us at all. You need to go on back." Now, I am 6'4", so maybe they need something for the national basketball team. I might be able to help. But for the most part, he's going to have trouble there. See, he's going to try to send everybody back. And the question is, what happens to these people who are in limbo? The country says, I'm not taking back all these people. I don't know him. And what do you do with those people? And the real concern is, where do you put these people? Because he's going to try to round up people and detain them. If you're talking about 11 million people, we don't have 11 million people in jail now, right? We don't have all the systems in 200 something years that we built for prisons don't even accommodate that many people. What do you do?
Yeah, I could see him doing a concentration camp. I really can.
Absolutely see that.
I
That
can
is like
absolutely see him living it like back during Hitler days. I can actually see him creating concentration camps and not really caring, and his base loving it because he said that he was going to do it, and them watching that type of suppression gives them some type of pleasure. Let's talk about really briefly now, because and the reason why, guys, I just want to let the viewers know the reason why I'm talking about this isn't because I'm leaning heavily in one party or not. We're talking about our civil liberties. We're talking about our constitutional rights here. And when, for me, it doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. Any president that puts forward this type of what I'm talking, leading with fear and hate. It's just something that I feel imperative to use my platform to cover. I want to talk about really briefly about the rollbacks on transgender protection and education policy, like critical race theory and gender education, where he's saying, listen, he plans to cut federal education funds on the curricular issues surrounding this, meaning he doesn't want it talked about or anything. And then the rollbacks on transgender education. Attorney Shatan Turner, what does this mean for those parents who have transgender kids?
Well, so Your Honor, just quickly, the reason that he's tying it to federal funding is you have to remember is that that's how, because of federalism principles, the federal government gets to control what happens in the states. It's a interstate commerce theory that allows them to interject themselves into things that they otherwise would have no jurisdiction over. And one of them is education. And so it's all tied to funding. And so the way that you try to influence what's taught in a public school is by using this kind of carrot and stick model. Now, you also have to remember, as it relates to public education, is that one of his cabinet members has been very vocal about trying to eliminate the Department of Education. So I don't even know how that would get enforced. But getting to this issue about transgender, the first day, November 6th, right? Because remember, my birthday was November 5th, Election Day. On November 6th, the first video that I saw President Trump issue that was on a particular topic was one he had about transgender youth and the fact that he was going to use the muscle of the government to disallow anyone under 18 from receiving gender affirming care. And it was a very blanket comment that covered potentially mental health treatment and medication therapy. It was just not limited to surgery, which is more controversial for folks. So people need to know that this transgender issue, he ran commercials on it that suggested that he was committed to it. And then the first video that he issued that was on Twitter was on this topic. So I think that people who are trans and people who have trans children need to be very mindful that the climate is changing under this next administration and to try to figure out what it means. Like President Obama interjected protections for people based on gender identity expression in Section 1557 of the Affordable Care Act. The Affordable Care Act remains law. President Trump has indicated that he wants to repeal it. I don't think he's going to have the votes to be able to do that. And what are you going to do for the insurance? However, he could redline it and eliminate the protections for trans folks. And that's actually the only federal law that specifically protects people based on gender identity and expression. People forget that it's not in Title VII of the Civil Rights Act that applies to employment. It's not in Title IX. People try to backdoor it by using other legal theories, but it's not in all those things. So the message is, whether he can accomplish it or not, who knows? The future will tell us. But what we do know is that the climate is changing.
Right. It's completely changing. He's rolling it back.
Hostile environment for people who are trans in this country, and we all need to take notice.
Right. Attorney Mathis, you live in the DMV. You wake up every day and understand the sense and the pulse as it relates to the Capitol and the political environment there. What are your thoughts on this whole, he is going to pardon those who constitutionally, violated everything you can imagine on this insurrection?
Well, first I want to say to Attorney Turner's point, with regard to the rollbacks, I think one of the most disturbing ones to me as a mental health advocate, in addition to an attorney, is the disbanding of the laws that, the previous administration, the current administration put into place. And I don't think a lot of people realize when they were voting for Trump or not voting for Kamala Harris, is that that's going to target a lot of the helpless people, right? Or people who need advocacy the most. Particularly, that's going to do away with the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment, IEP testing and accommodations, which I received accommodations all the way through my education from middle school through the bar exam. That's going to do away with school lunches. So people who actually need those services the most, that is what's really going to hurt. And that is what affects me the most as well. In addition to that, yes, these allegations and plans that he plans on doing, I don't know if they are legal now. Now, that's not my actual wheelhouse. Attorney Turner may be able to help with that area, but I don't think that he legally can pardon those individuals from the insurrection. Oh, he can pardon.
Oh, yes, he can. He can pardon. He can pardon as president anyone accused of a federal crime. And most of those people, they were on federal property. Remember, they were on federal property in DC. They were all charged in federal court, and every one of those people. Now, the funny part is, most of those people have already been convicted, served, and are out. So it's funny to me how they'll be appreciative of the fact that he could have pardoned them on January 7th, 2021. He'd let that go, and then after they serve their time, he'll go, okay, well, we get your records back. I guess you can vote now, and some of those civil protections back. But I took a look at it and realized that it's rare, but presidents usually pardon one person at a time. But you can pardon multiple people. Usually they pardon
drug dealers. Trump pardoned a ton of drug dealers, so you're right about that.
Yeah, and usually it's in the situation one at a time. You get this person, that person. But in the past, they've had situations like, for instance, the end of the Civil War. They pardoned all of those people who had been involved in the Civil War for insurrection. Said we're not gonna get you. There was in Utah in the 19th century. There was a Mormon war in Utah where settlers and the U.S. government fought it out. So kind of insurrection. They pardoned all those people, and so it happens from time to time. Every once in a while, they'll have a mass multiple pardon like this. Doesn't happen very often. To me, it's more. It doesn't have a real effect so much. It's not going to empty the jail, but it's a sign to his people. What he's saying is, I got you.
Right. That I got you.
My people, I got you. So by the way, if you want to go out and do some new stuff,
I got you. Yeah, I feel like
that's the part that I think, Attorney Carter, that's the part that should put fear in the heart of everyone. And it doesn't matter because now we're afraid he's going to be president. And so really what the fear is going to do us, but it becomes a blank check for people who want to engage in treasonous behavior on behalf of the president, treasonous and or murderous behavior. Like, that's the thing. It tells people, to your point, I got you. And, if he wants to make America great again, then go back to the times when people had to actually plead their case and show justification for getting a pardon, as opposed to just doing something at the behest of the president, which he has denied even asking them to do. It's a whole hot mess.
All right, everybody, let's rotate the conversation here. Death God said someone's mic is on pink powder. Everyone, be sure to check your mic. I think it's between Attorney Carter and Attorney Turner. You two, check your mic. Make sure you're not rubbing up against your mic, because Death God says someone's mic is on pink powder. All right, let's keep it moving, everybody. Here in Celebrity Court.
I'm old. I'm old. What's pink
Wait, I
powder?
just thought about that pink powder. Oh, Lord, what type of viewers we got over here? I like it, awfully.
What is pink? What is pink powder? You gotta tell Grandpa.
Pink powder is what they found on Diddy. It's
Yeah, you don't need to know Attorney Carter.
Okay, all right.
It's, drugs.
Unless you do drug cases, you don't need to know Attorney Carter.
All right, fair enough.
Ketamine mixed with cocaine and ecstasy. Pink powder. All right, everybody, let's keep it moving. PNB Rock is back in the court of Celebrity Court. New evidence has emerged of a video showing a restaurant employee making a phone call after greeting him, and that this could have in fact been the key tip that led to PNB Rock's death after being robbed. All right, let's go to you, Attorney Mathis, because Attorney Mathis is having issues with her buildings on fire. So let's go to you, Attorney Sean Carter. Tell me about this new found evidence as it relates to the PNB Rock's murder investigation.
Right. So when this first happened a couple of years ago, the story we all thought happened was that PNB Rock and his girlfriend had gone into the Waffle House, and that beforehand she had posted a picture, posted them on Instagram, and that someone had seen him, saw the drip he had on, and went into the Waffle House to try to rob him, and then it ended up being murder. It turned out actually that it looks like that didn't happen. It wasn't from the Instagram post, but rather that an employee of Waffle House saw him, called one of his boys, and they came to rob him. Turned out to be a father-son team, which is a strange robbery team, and everything went bad, and the result, young man was killed, unfortunately.
So, Attorney Shatan Turner, the one thing that I thought was very interesting about this case, with this new turn of evidence, now has put Rosco Chicken and Waffles in liability zone and could face civil liability because, unfortunately, it's their facility, it's their property, and it was their employees. Can you tell us, as far as algoriters are concerned, if you own a business and one of your employees, while they're on the clock at your business, how your business can be liable for actions that lead to, in this case, not only robbery, but death?
Yeah, so algoriters don't hire shady people, and then you don't have to worry about the answer to this question. But in all candor, there's a concept called agency that applies to individuals who work at an organization who have the potential to bind the organization for their misdeeds. And so at Waffle House, generally speaking, and this was at night, only people.
Rosco's Chicken and Waffles.
Rosco's Chicken and Waffles. My apologies. I've been there. I've been to LA to one location, but
let's be clear. This could happen at Waffle House. This happened every Tuesday at Waffle House. But this is definitely Rosco's.
But yeah, any company needs to be mindful that people who work for them have the opportunity to bind them because they're their agents. It's a legal principle that applies to employees and people who are representing themselves on behalf of another organization. And so it's as if Rosco himself, if Rosco's still alive, made the call to get this young man killed. That's what the concept of agency is. Like, they can't say, but there's also a legal theory that they would try to assert that's frolic and detour. Like, we hired her to flip waffles and serve food. We did not hire her to conspire to commit murder. I don't think it's going to fly here because she was on property. She was in the restaurant, and the result of her actions, I think, is going to have it go to heightened scrutiny.
Right now, I do want people, when you look on Instagram and you see those fights in Waffle House, the reason why, I know a lot of people, this one woman got fired because she fought back. And a lot of people on Instagram were trying to campaign to get her job back because she was simply just standing her ground. This is one of the reasons, as Shaitan Attorney Turner shared with us, agency is why Waffle House had to let her go, because her actions is and speaks for the company Waffle House, even though they are a franchise and independently owned. One thing I want to talk about really quickly before we move off of the PNB Rock murder is, let's talk about Mr. Attorney Carter really quickly, how this could actually help. I know it sounds bad, but this could actually help the teenager or the co-defendant, right? Because he was charged, the minor was charged for the murder of PNB, because he's the one that actually committed the murder. But now the charges could be arguably lessened because of this new detail that we found. Why is that so?
I'm not sure that that's the case. Now, his case is a little different. You know, the father, for instance, has already been charged and been convicted, got 31 years to life. Rightfully so. The son, up until this time, they've had some trouble with mental status, and right now they're trying to figure out if he's competent to stand trial. Obviously, he didn't grow up in a normal household. All right. If in your normal household, your dad says, "Hey, go take the trash out. Now let's go rob somebody." Right. So obviously stuff was going on weird. And I got to give the father a little credit, because I can't get my sons to clean their room. All right. Ain't no way in the world I can get them to go out and commit armed robbery. I'm raising some punks over here. I ain't gonna lie. My kids won't even violate YouTube copyright. All right. So I don't know, maybe I'm doing it right or wrong. But certainly wouldn't be like that. And someone just said, you know, there's some issues about whether the son literally has the mental competence, etc. The difference here, by the way, this to me, the only difference seems to be with sort of clearing the girlfriend's name. A lot of people, I think even Gucci Mane, came after this young woman. They're like, "Hey, you got him set up." People are accusing her of all that stuff, and it looks like the case, this would happen regardless. And so, but from a legal standpoint, it really doesn't matter from his standpoint if he got a call from someone or they found out on Instagram. You still don't get to go rob somebody. All right, regardless of how you find out if they got where they are. And so, unfortunately, his case is probably not affected by this much at all. The father's been in prison. That's good. The real question is the person who made the call. And I think all we have, I've read from the Instagram story, is someone made a call. It took a long time to get them their food, 40 minutes. Now, by the way, I've been to Waffle House a lot. That particular Waffle House.
You know, drinking at Waffles.
Thank you. I keep saying that. You're right. Roscoe's. I love Roscoe's. But if you guys, I think, have been to, I know certainly you have, Judge, been to Roscoe's. They're not known for quick service. It might take you 40 minutes to get some water. All right. So you know how we get
it. It's a line out the door.
There you go. Right. So it's possible. But the real question is going to be, do they have enough information with text or with phone calls to be able to tie the person who made the call to the actual throne?
Well, they say under California law, it's the conspiracy charges. So they could face conspiracy charges, which is what they are saying he conspired against PNB Rock, right?
Exactly. And even in that case, you're absolutely right. The worst part is it's not just that he would get conspiracy to commit armed robbery. He's getting conspiracy for murder.
Right.
Right. You get, and that's the thing people should really understand. Once you conspire with other people, whatever happens in that situation.
That is so scary to me. Repeat that again for our algorithms. You can conspire for a robbery to occur. But if that robbery goes left and leads to death, that blood is on your hands as well.
Even worse, I know a guy who spent 20 years in prison. The cops shot his co-conspirator. If the cops shoot you, you responsible for the murder of the murder. They'll get you for murder even if the cops did it.
Wow.
Anybody who dies, you're responsible. Wow. Somebody has a heart attack, watching it, that's you.
Wow. Any stray bullets that hit somebody, that's you.
That's you.
Exactly. And to Attorney Carter's point, for the algoriters, right? Here's how it might go down, because people might be like, I'm not calling anybody to rob somebody for their jewelry. I'm not calling anybody to commit murder, right? Here's where your kids will call. Your kids will be like, "Hey, Johnny, come over here because Mary wants to give you some. And in truth, when Johnny gets there, he's going to get jumped by some people who didn't like him at school. It all goes sideways. He hits his head on a rock and then he dies. And now your kid has conspiracy to commit murder. So just don't be involved in anything shady. Don't be making the call. Tell your kids not to make the call. If somebody wants someone to come for some nefarious reason, they need to make the call themselves.
That's interesting. All right, let's keep it moving. All right, everybody. The likes aren't liking. Please, 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 please help me out tonight and hit that like button. Also, if this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, hit that share button. Don't forget to turn on your notifications and jump down into those comments because we love to hear from you and also answer any of your questions as a part of the show that we go to the questions because you, the viewers, also serve as our jury. And we want to hear from you because your voice will always be heard here in Celebrity Court. Next up, P. Diddy, welcome back to the Court of Public Opinion. Now, P. Diddy is going for his third bail attempt, attorneys, and he's saying his lawyers are saying, hey, we're going to pay $50 million in our bond. We're going to give him strict rules of communication and movement. And we feel like because of all of this, he's no longer a flight risk or a threat. Attorney Sean Carter, what say you as it relates to this third attempt to getting Diddy out of jail?
Well, if this doesn't work, then Diddy's gonna stay. But because he's really gone all out. All right. Before the three problems that they had with giving him bail is one, we think you keep intimidating witnesses. You keep calling people all in their DMs, telling them not to testify. Two, you got money. All right. And I don't know. I got to tell you this. I don't know how they caught Diddy in New York City. Because if you had documentaries out, everybody on the internet's talking about me doing something, you're gonna have to catch me in Costa Rica. All right, and even then, you're gonna knock them. It's not gonna be easy for you because I'm gonna have my skin lightened. I'm gonna do the whole Michael Jackson thing, and I'm gonna have matter of fact, you're gonna have to arrest Shauna Carter because I'm gonna be a woman. I'm doing the whole thing. All right, you ain't gonna catch me as a man. All right. But they caught him. So he said, hey, I'm giving up my plane. You remember that? He said, matter of fact, y'all, I'm going to hire 24-hour security to watch me. All right. Y'all ain't going to pay a dime. I'm going to have a whole jail here. All right. Nobody's going to be able to come in and out. People who do come in and out are going to be supervised. So I can't pass them notes. I'm not going to have any internet. Not going to be on the gram. Nothing. Okay. And by the way, the case against me doesn't really look that tight. And he introduced some evidence about some consensual conversation with someone who might be a victim saying, hey, everybody wanted to get their freak off too. Okay. So it's not really that big of a deal. Now, here's the thing about it is, I don't know if it's going to be successful or not, but I know he can't offer anything more than this. All right. He can't say, look, right, he's offered everything he possibly can. So if they say no to this, he's just going to have to just, tough it out.
Attorney Turner, you know what I was thinking, and I know this is pretty sad, and I don't mean to think like this. I think that this may fall onto deaf ears because of precedent, number one. I think number two, they should have probably elected to keep him in the general part instead of making sure that he was in the very safe, protected part. Because one thing that I think would have been to his advantage is if he stayed in general population and something happened to him. Even if he fell down and hit his head and had to go to, get medical care, or if people are harassing him, they could make an argument that he's unsafe in the jail. But he hasn't had any horrible instances in the jail. He's basically by himself. So what argument would justify him going home and doing the same thing that he is doing right now in jail?
I mean, you make a good point. His mama needs to get word out to people who can tell Pookie and them who are in prison and to say, hey, beat his ass in the protective place because getting beat up would be great reason why he would need to be out on bail than remaining in jail. That said, the arguments to make are the ones that Attorney Carter made because those are the ones that prevented him from getting bail before. So what he wants to do is to attack all the reasons that they denied bail and to say that there's a change of circumstance, which his lawyers have argued, and those situations are no longer true. Now, the notion that there's going to be all of this surveillance when he goes home, you know, you have to say that. I don't really think that's going to be true. And the notion that, well, I'll be at home and I can't leave, and so, you know, it's still bad. Well, everybody knows that you don't want to know if they have an orange jumpsuit in your size in prison. And if you get there, what you want to do is get out, right? So not being there is better than being there all day long. So I think the prejudice, you know, trying to find some cases where other people had committed similarly egregious acts and they were allowed to be on bail, that might be helpful. Showing that, you know, even one person who was a convicted felon became president might be helpful. Oh, that was tongue in cheek. But I'm just saying, like, where's the equity?
Right. You know what's so interesting though? He talks about how he's going to hire all these people. If I hired someone to surveillance me, trust me, if I pay your salary, I'm going to do what the heck I want to do. I just don't understand how he ever thought that would make sense or sound good to anybody. Am I the only one that thinks that this is the most insane thing you've ever heard?
No. And the reason I say it is because and we all do this. We hang around some rich people. Stuff's always different from them. Now, if this was Pookie in them, I would find it absurd. But yeah, if it's a guy with $120 million, yeah, I'm not surprised that they'll make the rules a little different for him. And you know, and generally speaking, it'll be interesting to see. Like I said, I don't know if he'll get out, but I know that if he doesn't get out now, this is it. All right, you're not going to be able to offer any more than that. He can't be like, oh, I'm going to cut my hands off and my feet off. I mean, you know, there's nothing more that they could do. Whether he can hire his own security is kind of interesting, because the argument he'll make is, you know, the money I'm saving you, the money that otherwise you'd be spending, right? I'm basically doing that, right? I'm paying the 30 grand a year it takes to keep me in jail myself. It would be, you know, if this was, I guess, a non-violent, you know, like if it was, you know, whitewater crime or Prince. Remember Bernie Madoff? Yeah. I don't think he went to jail until he actually went to prison. He was out the whole time, right? And if you have,
he wasn't sex trafficking and all of that type of stuff. He was just stealing people's money. All right, everybody, let's keep it moving. Next up, Gucci Mane. Welcome to Celebrity Court. Gucci Mane, owner of 1017 Records, has released all his artists from his label. Several key legal implications can arise for both Gucci Mane and the affected artists. As we know, his ex-girlfriend is saying or threatening his life if she sees him for being dropped from his label. Attorney Shaitan Turner, how is it possible that he can just terminate everybody's agreement? Don't they have contracts? Don't they have issues as it relates to royalty payments? Don't they have intellectual property rights? Like, who is Gucci Mane's legal counsel, and under what case study would this be plausible?
So you know that old adage, the only thing you have to do is be black and die. That applies to everything quite literally. So when you ask, how can he? Because he can, right? People engage in unlawful acts all the time, which is part of the reason lawyers have jobs. And the remedy for those who believe their rights were violated is that you sue them. And so it may be that the terms of these contracts were not honored. And it may be that these people have contractual rights because of the way that they were unceremoniously discharged. It might be true. I mean, what we do know, at least from this ex-girlfriend, is that at least one of them is big mad. And she is accusing him of a lot of things. And she's going to the mat and she's like, hey, I got rights.
All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Listen, I wanted to make this announcement on 1017 yesterday, but I just seen like my statement, my P&L with all my artists. You know, it's almost like a whole bunch of shakeup and it's a whole shit show in the industry right now. But when I look at my P&L And me being a businessman, I think that I'm gonna have to release almost all my artists, except for Pooh Shiesty and Fujiano. This is a decision I didn't want to make. I thought about it, you know what I'm saying? I could keep all of them under the contract. But I said, hey, fuck it. Let's just make the unselfish decision and, let them take their talents elsewhere.
All right, let's take a look at his ex-girlfriend's response.
And artist.
And artist, that's correct.
Soon as I see a Gucci man, on God, on my soul, I flatline in broad daylight. Drop the location. Where the next show at? Where the next show? I bet you I'll be out there with the damn Glock on my hip with just me and Mac Bre-Z. Yeah, I bet y'all flatline. But listen, y'all, I'm trying my absolute best to expose the Gucci, but they keep, every time I try to post receipts, they keep taking my shit down. Hell no, I'm not letting shit go.
All right, let's look at a picture of them from back in the day when they used to date. Bailiff? Woo. What?
They both been through it.
They both been. Woo, she don't look. What in the Gucci man is going on here?
Algorithm, look at the pictures. Do not date Gucci man. It's not going to work out well for you in the long term. I'm just going to tell you that now. But anyway, now here's the thing that's interesting is he says he's released his artist and almost makes it seem like he's doing him a favor. They can go elsewhere now. Otherwise, I'd have had him under contract. And I don't know how the contracts work here because it might be the case that he did do him a favor. It might not be the case. He might just be BSing. I do know that in her case, the proper legal remedy is not a Glock and a record. I know that. And I don't even think, I ain't going to say that she's not being serious here, but I do know this. She can find out where his next show is. I got a Ticketmaster app. I can find out where his next show is. So I'm sure she's just really upset right now. Hopefully, she'll calm down, do it the right way, take him to court. And if there's some legal ramifications, then he'll have to pay them. And we've seen pretty, recently that people get their money.
Well, tell me this. Does anybody know a song that she has made? I'm not trying to be funny. I just want to know, when's the last time she's been on the stage rapping that now that she's being released, she's not going to make her money?
So she has a couple of things she's claiming. One, that she was on a couple of his records in the past, a couple of the other artists from that record. She also says that so she never got any royalties for the hit song Go Ahead. That she said she had collaborated on it. She also says he stole one of her ideas for his The Candy Lady song. That's her song. She wrote that song.
Okay, got it.
And then she also claimed some physical abuse during a relationship, and so she might be suing for up to $20 million. We haven't gotten
So there's a payday for her.
There's a payday for everybody. Have you ever noticed that every one of these rappers, you can't name none of their songs, but they all got $50, $100 million?
Yeah,
right.
Sean,
nobody's buying their stuff.
Attorney Turner, how stupid you feel going to law school?
I was about to say that. Note to self, you made a mistake. Yeah, you worked too hard to get too little. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this turns out because one, the lesson to algoriters, I have to say it, Your Honor, and you're going to tell me to stop picking on the men, but don't do women dirty because when women are scorned, they come after you, right? The other thing is that for anybody with whom you're in business with, have clear expectations of what the relationship is. Memorialize it in writing because there are a lot of people who date people, have intimate relationships with people, and they talk about things. And the ideas of one person are used to create some lucrative venture, and then the person who thought they were in love and they were going to get their share ends up left out in the cold, right? And so if you're collaborating with somebody, and attorney Ashley Valenzuela mentioned this before, the details of how the collaboration in the music industry goes, like if someone tells you they're going to put you on after the song hits, No, get put on now.
Yeah, put
So
on
that she
before
can
and during. Right.
exactly.
Right.
And see, and that's why one of these is a real good thing. See, this is a contract here. All right. My wife don't never had to go on Instagram or nothing. All right. She got half of all my stuff, which ain't a lot. All right, but she got about 38 cents. But she got half of 76 cents. I know that. And I mean, seriously, you don't need a piece of paper to have a baby, to have a relationship, but this is a contract sealer. All right. You get one of these and you ain't got to ever go on Instagram and yell about nothing. You don't need a Glock or nothing. All right. You entitled by law.
Really quickly, Abby NYC, the MMF family, had a good point. She said, don't you mail yourself something as proof? Well, Abby, and I want the attorneys to jump in here. Now, luckily, electronic communication through text, email, voice messages, all of those can be entered into evidence as a contract form, correct, attorneys?
Yes.
Yes.
So if you text them,
and Rudy Huxtable used the term that Attorney Redwine used the last time that this issue came up. That concept that Abby is mentioning is called the poor man's copyright. And so what Attorney Redwine said is you put it in a sealed letter and then envelope and then put that in like a larger envelope, seal that too, takes to the post office, get it time stamped, and then send it to yourself and never open it.
That's called a poor man's contract.
Copyright.
All right. We're learning a lot tonight.
Rights in the song. And then, so that's what Abby's mentioning. So that was in reference to the case we discussed where there were people talking about lyrics in a club and then they made an album, right? So the poor man's copyright is designed to preserve the copyright interests in the creative work. The contract concept that you're talking about, Your Honor, is having a document that memorializes the intent of the parties and talks about the circumstances under which they're going to deal with one another.
Got it. All right. So in this case, you need to do both. Right? Just with these artists. All right. Next up, and this is such a sad story. Model Dynus Saxon is facing charges of second-degree murder. Dynus, welcome to Celebrity Court. He's also being charged with first-degree manslaughter and criminal possession of a weapon. These are significant legal ramifications he could encounter under New York law, including potential prison time, challenging what he is trying to establish as a self-defense or intent. Attorney Carter, I think it was you that was making a point about this particular case. Tell us about this case and what do we know to date, or was it you, Attorney Turner, as it relates to he had cuts? Because how did we know that he was at the scene?
Yeah, there were witnesses to him, his comings and goings, and he was also injured as a part of the stabbings that he did. It was a particularly heinous and bloody scene because of how he just got up and like stab someone in their sleep. It's kind of disturbing.
And so I mean, like, why isn't he arrested? Why is he not taken in? Like, I'm confused. Attorney
he
Carter.
was charged.
Yeah, well, he was arrested. The incident happened on Sunday. He was arrested and taken in on Monday. But I agree with you, Judge. I'm not sure what happens if I catch you at the scene of a crime and you are all bloody and whatever. I don't know if he had gotten away. I saw the story the same one Attorney Turner did. There was, I think, some woman on the street interview who said, "Oh, there was somebody handcuffed who was bloody," and I've seen street interviews, and I'm not always so sure they got the facts right.
Got it.
Right. And so I'm not exactly sure what happened here, whether it's self-defense, whether it was something. I do know that it was a really vicious, the victim had stab wounds, not only on the torso, hands, but feet as well. Now, you got to be struggling and you trying to fight with your feet, with bare feet.
Yeah.
That doesn't even...
like trying to fillet them or something and so there's been speculation about whether something happened to set him off. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But there's also speculation that maybe he has some sort of mental impairment that caused him to react.
Right, because I read under the first-degree manslaughter charge, they were saying it was a heat of passion. What exactly is the acting in the heat of passion mean? Because for me, as a person who's not a lawyer, heat of passion to me seems like there's some type of love triangle. It could be between the two of them, or it could be between someone else. What does it mean when they use the legal term acting in the heat of passion?
Yeah, we normally think of it that way, where it's something relationship-wise. But oftentimes it just means you didn't mean to do it before you got there. So if you're at a club and someone steps on your foot and you start getting into it with them, then if that goes bad, that's second-degree murder. First degree is the kind of thing like we saw in the other case where you plan that out, right? You say, oh, we're gonna go up there, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. So second degree happens a lot in these cases where if you have and why they call it heat of passion, you have a dispute with someone, and then you just start going at it. That's second degree.
Okay, got it. All right, as we round up tonight's celebrity court, we got to go and talk about Ray J's threatening Jamal Bryant. Ray J threatened Pastor Jamal Bryant about posting a video that could, expose him in a bad way. Not only did he threaten the pastor, but he said someone's going to get yanked out of that pulpit. Attorney Turner, please tell us why our algorithms shouldn't be going on social media and threaten other people with words like this.
Before that play, that old. Oh, did you say Carter or Turner?
No, well, I was just going to say, Judge, do you want to show the video so we actually see Ray J?
Yes, let's see it.
Got nothing but love for Pastor Bryant. Shout out to Jamal Bryant. Shout out to Von Alvarez. But if y'all play that interview, somebody getting snatched off the pulpit. Don't play the interview. It's not clear. It was out of bounds. Me and Pastor Bryant need to talk because the way I was treated was dirty and illegal. And I don't like it. And I don't want nobody to play that fucking interview. I don't care if you from the church or not. Like be respectful and do people right. Don't call people out their name and don't make people feel like they're not safe in a place where they thought they were safe. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now. We need to work it out.
I think we've seen enough. Tell me, and look, I will say this over and over and over. Ray J does not come from the hood like that, right? This is Brandy's mother. His mother and father. I've been a huge advocate of this family. She was the original. She was the original Kris Kardashian or whatever. What's Chris's name? The momager. Jenner. Kris Jenner. She was the original Hollywood Kris Jenner. This family has always been very smart, very deliberate, very, very legally inbounds with everything that they do, how they do their business. What is going on with Ray J? It's almost like we're watching him unravel in front of our own eyes. Do you guys think, and I've been thinking about this because he's been very vocal about the Diddy stuff. Is he using this to get PR attention, or is he using this as a tactic to possibly take people off of the scent of something that he may have done with P. Diddy in the parties?
I mean, it's hard to speculate about what may or may not have happened at those freak off parties. There was just so much baby oil, right? And people, and there were so many drinks that had drugs in them that who really knows who was there, what they did, and whether it was in the front door, the back door, the side door, right? We don't know. But I think that Ray J he ain't been right since Whitney died, right? And he also just had that issue where he was allegedly committing a domestic violence against the mother of his children, and the kid called the cops on him, and then he tried to get the kids to change the story like he didn't really do it. So this is a man that we've observed engaging in concerning behavior. You know, that video gave the appearance of somebody that was impaired and or really tired, right? And so, and he was rambling. You know, the other thing it strikes me as I watch it is that old play, your arms too short to box with God. Your arms are too short and your faith is too insignificant to be threatening the pastor. You cannot be talking about snatching people out the pulpit. So Ray J needs several seats.
Also, like he's like, it's a mega church. It's like thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of congregants. Like, what is he thinking?
Yeah.
No,
and I'm sure
here's what I don't get.
Is like he's a man of God, but I'm just saying, in that outfit and that picture y'all put up, he seemed like he might be about that life. He gonna forget he's saved, and Ray J may catch hands.
Jamal. Jamal does look like just he's two steps from like he'll whip somebody's tail. I don't care.
Yeah, well, he's from Baltimore. Yeah, he and here's what I don't get about Ray J. Let's say, because it seems to me what he's saying is that I said something in that interview that I don't want you to say.
Right.
But here's the thing is, he done snitched on himself now. Because guess what? Now the rest of us know that we didn't know at all that he said he got some stuff to hide. And here's the weird part is it was going out on a church podcast. Now, Shatai, you a church lady. You don't listen to your church's podcast. Ain't nobody listen to church podcast. He got 7 listeners. And 3 of them is his family, his mama, his daddy. Nobody listening to church podcast.
Mama, you got his wife, you got his kids. You might have the head of the deacon board, but you probably don't have the Sunday school superintendent because they busy.
There you go, right? Whoever in charge of the building fund definitely ain't listening to that thing. All right, you ain't got nobody listening to this thing. And think about it. Did any of you know he had a podcast? No, nobody know he had a podcast.
I didn't know he had a podcast.
Right. I mean, Ray J now he got the biggest. He got Club Shay Shay now because everybody want to hear what Ray J said. And so I'm thinking about it, like, is he worried about the legal ramifications? All you people, this is important. This is free legal advice. All right, from all the attorneys here, just call people. You don't have to put it on Instagram. All right, just call it.
Exactly. I don't understand that either. That's why I feel like it's intentional, and this is like a little clout chasing to me. All right, everybody. As our time,
when he put Dr. Dre, that's a psychiatrist, right? He could have just left it on his phone.
And he said,
this is the best thing that happened to Pastor Jamal, because I think that there's going to be some gangbangers and other people who aren't sure if they're seeking the Lord, but they just coming to see what's going to happen. And the connection plate is going to be overflowing.
The connection plate going to be full. All right, everybody.
Together and run it over.
This is a part of the show that we go to you, the jury, to answer any of your questions that you have about tonight's cases. All right, first up, Abby, NYC, the MM family. They say we've been eating cat at the Chinese restaurants for years. I only order shrimp and chicken. Oh, my God. All right, next up, mixed feelings. Isn't Diddy part of Trump's New York high life circle? Will Trump be able to pardon Diddy?
Oh, yeah, those are federal charges. Yeah, they federal charges, didn't they?
They're federal charges, but aren't they? He can pardon him of the criminal stuff, but he can't pardon him of the civil stuff, correct?
Well, if people can sue him and try to take his money, but he could get him out.
He'll be free. Yeah.
Matter of fact, I could see him actually doing that. Like, look, I ain't racist. I pardoned you. Now I'm locking.
Yep, I could actually see
Attorney Carter, we also don't know if President Trump is on one of those tapes.
There we go.
This is true too. I doubt it. But I can also see, in order for him to get more backing from the black male contingency, I could see him doing this, and especially the hip hop community. All right, Master Montclair Coyote, can someone please tell me what circuit are the immigration judges? Are they justices?
No, so they're weird. There are what's called administrative law judges. And so you have judges that hear everyday cases, and then you have a certain class of judges. I just spoke for them 2 months ago, and they are appointed by particular agencies. So the Department of Homeland Security will have people, and they only handle those cases. So an immigration judge doesn't do criminal. They don't do anything else. They simply handle those cases. And so they get really good at it. So they can hopefully work through the backlog. By the way, there's 1 million of those cases already on the docket.
I know, I heard. That's insane. Tanya Kelly, he videotaped people without their permission. So why should I believe he would follow the guidelines? What is the law that when you go in someone's house, you give up the ability? Like if you go in someone's house, they have the right to videotape their premises, right? That's why the Ring cameras and all of that are so popular. What is that? Because it's like a sticky, it's a slippery slope there, right? An individual has the right to videotape their property without you knowing it. That's how they catch robbers. But in this
you have
case,
to distinguish between video and audio. So people get confused. So if we've talked about this briefly before, that if you are going to record audio things, then that falls under the electronic and surreptitious recording law and surveillance of each state. It varies by state. Not every state has you have the ability to do it surreptitiously. If you have prominent cameras so that everybody can see them, then that's a different thing. But like people who want to have these CSI type moments where it's gotcha and they have a teddy bear and it's not clear that it's a camera, you better be really careful in the state where you're trying to do it, that it's only video and not audio. But if it's only video, unless it's a big time freak off and everybody's naked and a bunch of stuff is happening, you don't get the beauty of the dialogue.
Got it.
You won't tell you if it's consensual.
Now you seem to know the law really, really well there, but what's getting me is your knowledge of the freak off. So did it big time and is little time? Is it medium? Tell me all, because you seem to know the freak off.
He knows the freak off.
We've been talking about the freak offs for weeks.
I told her we've been talking about it for months, but I told her Attorney Turner needs a date. Anybody out there, algorithms? Anybody got somebody for this woman to go on a date with, baby?
I don't think she need a whole date. She just need a freak off. That's all.
Y'all are not my real friends. Y'all are my real friends.
The first person that this recent divorcee runs into after this papers go through, baby, is going to be worn out. All right, everybody, this is the part of the show where we, the judge, as well as the attorneys, give our verdict on guilty or not guilty. First up, is Trump guilty or not guilty with his Trump day one dictatorship? Is he guilty of trying to create a dictatorship or not? Attorney Carter, what say you?
Oh, absolutely. He's not even kidding. He's not even pretending on that one. Yeah, he would vote himself guilty on that
one. Right. Attorney Turner?
Guilty.
All right, I'm Al, and I'm the judge here in the celebrity court, and we're going to find Donald Trump guilty. Guilty is charged for trying to create a dictatorship, for trying to take transgender rights back, trying to take critical race theory out of the school systems, firing federal employees, pardon people of the riot who violated the constitutional rights of America with an insurrection. I mean, and the list goes on and on. Guilty, guilty, guilty. All right, next up, PNB Rock is Rosco Waffles guilty or not guilty or being held liable for this employee who dropped a dime and got PNB Rock killed? Attorney Carter, what say you?
As far as Roscoe is concerned, I've had the chicken and waffles, so I'm gonna have a hard time saying guilty. I go there. My aunt lives in town. No, they're not responsible. Now, the people who did it are different, but you ain't gonna take it with my chicken and waffle just because.
All right, no, did not guilty. All right, Attorney Turner.
I think that Attorney Carter's pushed this too far with his desire for fried food, syrup, dictating his opinion. Now I'm just kidding. They're guilty, for the reasons of agency.
All right, this is Al, and I'm the judge here in the court of Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. We got to find Roscoe's Chicken and Waffle guilty. Guilty because we've been told what agency is here, and clearly they're in violation. Next up, P. Diddy, third bail attempt what do we say? Is he going to get the third attempt? What do you think? Will the judge allow it? Would you allow it, Attorney Carter? What say you?
I don't think it matters, and here's why. Because he should have enough baby oil to just slide himself right out of the jail anyway. Those bars can't hold Diddy. Can't stop, won't stop.
Attorney Turner.
See, he gets to talk about baby oil, and you ain't say nothing about it.
Well, he's married still.
I think he's guilty.
Right. I'm Al, and I'm the judge here at Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. And guess what? Honestly, I want this to be a fair trial. I want this to be a fair trial, and I think he needs to stay put. He needs to put on his big boy underwear, roll up his sleeves, do his time, and if he's got a strong enough case, win it and tell everybody to kiss his ass. But right now, I don't feel like he deserves to be out. That's just my opinion, especially after seeing that video. And if he did it to her, it opens my mind to think that he possibly did it to some other people. And that's where the question lies for me. So, nope, bail denied. Next up, Gucci Man. Is he guilty or not guilty of dropping all his artists and not giving a damn? Attorney Carter.
I've said two not guilty. I got to say he's guilty. I think he's more guilty of what he did to that woman in 10 years. But that's good enough.
Attorney Turner.
He is guilty of what you indicated. Yes, he does not give a damn.
Right. I'm Al, and I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. I'm going to find him guilty of just dropping everybody except for two, and also guilty, Blaine. Can we see him in those red shorts? In those red shorts of riling up our algoriters. They really loved him in these red shorts here. So guilty, and more guilty. Next up, the Vogue model. Is Dynus Saxon guilty or not guilty of second-degree murder and first-degree manslaughter? Attorney Carter, what say you?
Here's what's happening. We don't have enough facts here. And this young man, I don't think he can kill you. I know he can kill me. All right, so I'm even I was asleep. I think I could whoop him. So I'm gonna have to say not guilty until and not saying that's not
knife.
That's not innocent. That's just not guilty until proven otherwise. We only had a knife.
All right, Attorney Turner.
You know, maybe it was some kind of kinky thing that went wrong because the person was cut up a lot. So it makes you wonder if they were impaired or what was going on that they were not able to move to avoid getting cut in so many places. But anyway, it's looking like he's guilty. I'll reserve judgment, but it's looking like he's guilty.
Rebuttal, Your Honor. What do you mean some stuff was, what kind of, you're bringing knives to the bedroom? Really? Is that what's going on?
No. What?
All right.
All I'm saying in this particular case, allegedly the man was asleep on a couch or something like that.
He was.
I don't know.
In the bed, but you would think with the, I don't know how y'all sleep, but if I get stabbed once, I'm popping up. Like the fact that there were, it was in his foot. There were just a lot of cuts. Yeah, I just have questions.
Right.
We got a question.
All right. I'm Alan. I'm the judge here in the Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, and we're gonna. This is a tough one. We're going to go with innocent until proven guilty. How about that? So we're going to find him not guilty yet. All right, last up, Ray J. Is Ray J guilty or not guilty of threatening a holy man that went viral on Instagram and social media? Attorney Carter, what say you?
He is multiply guilty. Guilty of threatening the man of God. All right. Guilty of snitching on himself.
Right.
Guilty of that sex tape with Kim Kardashian. that was horrible. All right, that's probably the worst thing he did yet. Being blonde, yes, he is all guilty.
Attorney Turner, what say you?
Oh, I love Attorney Carter. I'm so glad he joined the show. Guilty for all of those things. Also makes you think he's guilty of not being that bright because Kim Kardashian is a billionaire and he seems to always be struggling for money. But guilty. The other thing I would add, he's guilty of ensuring that that church is packed on Sunday so people can protect the pastor, because the best way to go to heaven
I
is
know. I can't wait to hear that, man. You know what? I just had a thought. Do you think that the reason why he's being stressed out and unraveling is because the new sex tape that could be coming out may not be so positive for him? He has a
he
lot of
might be.
experience with sex tapes. I'm just saying. He appears to be unraveling to me. All right, so I'm Al, and I am the judge here in Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. And Bre-Z, you know, you can do better. You know, I'm very fond of your family. I respect all of them. But in this case, young man, you are guilty. Guilty of everything that Attorney Carter has found you guilty of. All right, guilty as charged. All right, as we wrap up today's sessions, let's remember that the law is complex, as you can see, and celebrity cases often bring their own very unique challenges. Our discussion aims to shed light on these issues and empower you, our viewers, with knowledge. I thank you for your thoughtful questions and your participation. Until next time, keep questioning, stay informed, and always remember, the Celebrity Court of Public Opinion is a powerful place where your voice can and always will be heard. Court is now adjourned, and thank you all for watching.